If you've ever found yourself, maybe late at night, dreaming of chasing the northern lights way up in the Arctic Circle, or perhaps meeting Santa Claus himself in Rovaniemi. Well, today we're taking a deep dive into how to make that dream a vivid reality, especially if you're planning your adventure all the way from Singapore. We're going to unpack how one particular resource, finlandtour.fi, might just be your essential guide, maybe even your one-stop solution for a truly unforgettable trip.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it, how a place like Finland holds such a, well, almost mythical appeal globally. But travelers from different regions, say like Singapore, they often come with very specific needs, unique preferences, really, and a service that genuinely understands and caters to those nuances that can absolutely transform a standard trip into something deeply personal.
Yeah.
Unforgettable. And that's precisely what we'll explore today with finlandtour.fi.
Exactly. So what is it fundamentally that makes their approach different, sets them apart from, I don't know, a more generic online travel agency? Is it really that level of personalization?
It absolutely is. The sources we looked at really highlight their deep, specific understanding of what they call the mentality of Singaporean travelers when planning these tours. So this isn't just about knowing what sites Finland offers. It's about grasping how Singaporeans approach travel planning, what their priorities are, how best to communicate, and their local presence, having feet on the ground in both Singapore and Finland. Well, that's crucial. It apparently helps them cut out unnecessary communication channels, middlemen, basically. It ensures a really smooth flow from the initial idea right through to the actual trip happening.
That dual local presence does sound like a game changer, for seamless planning anyway. And something else they seem to have nailed down, which, let's face it, can often be a real headache for international travelers, is payment flexibility. I understand they've made some real strides here.
They have, yeah. And it's quite insightful, actually, how companies need to cater globally but still think locally. Our sources point out that many travelers, particularly from Asian countries, are often just more comfortable making payments in USD. That's what they're used to. So finlandtour.fi has adapted. They accept payments globally in USD as well as euros, naturally. It just removes a pretty significant potential barrier for a lot of people, makes the whole booking process much more accessible. They've clearly taken steps, especially in recent years, to make booking easier worldwide, specifically mentioning Singapore and Japan. And they also lean on their TripAdvisor reviews for that extra peace of mind.
Right. Okay. So with that level of personalization, that ease of payment, what kind of adventures are they actually crafting? What do these bespoke Finland tours, look like on the ground?
Well, they really cover a spectrum. The tailored tours, I mean. For instance, you can get packages starting from a pretty swift 5-day getaway, ideal maybe for a quick Arctic escape. That starts around 6,000 SGD. But then they scale all the way up to, a much more immersive 2-week journey. That's around 8,200 SGD. And of course, there are plenty of options in between 6, 7, 8 days, right up to 15 days. So you can really dial in the duration to fit your schedule and your budget.
That's quite a range. Offers a lot of flexibility. Okay, so we have an idea of the length and cost, but let's talk about the experiences. What truly captures the hearts of Singaporean travelers? What are the absolute must-dos for them?
This is where it gets really interesting. The data shows some very clear priorities. Number one, overwhelmingly, is the Northern Lights. No big surprise there, maybe, but listen to this. About 75% of search queries from Singaporean visitors on finlandtour.fi are specifically for a Finland Northern Lights tour. 75%. It's often the very first thing they bring up in customization discussions, and Finnish Lapland, naturally, is the prime destination for that.
Wow, 75%, that's a huge number.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about the Northern Lights? Especially for travelers coming from, a tropical place like Singapore.
Yeah.
Is it just the rarity, the spectacle?
I think it's a powerful combination. For many, yes, it's the exotic rarity, something completely alien to their home environment. The visual spectacle, obviously, is just breathtaking, but there's also that element of the chase, witnessing this natural phenomenon that feels almost mythical. Right behind the Northern Lights, though, the Santa Claus Village tour in Rovaniemi is the second most popular pick. Most travelers, whether they're families or couples, seem really keen to add this. It's driven by that pure desire to meet Santa, get the iconic photos, explore the park, especially knowing it's Santa's official home.
Yeah, the Santa Claus Village is definitely legendary. And then there's the glass igloo stay. That's almost become synonymous with Finland trips now, hasn't it?
It really has.
Most Singaporean travelers, it seems, are happy with just an overnight stay. But what's really astonishing, you mentioned, about 25% specifically want their igloo stay in Saraselka, and an incredible 21% are even willing to postpone their entire trip if they
Yeah.
can't get igloo availability. That's real commitment.
It truly is. It just underscores that for some, the igloo stay isn't just, a nice add-on. It's non-negotiable, a fundamental part of their dream Finland trip. And then there's this particularly unique preference that really highlights market specifics.
Yeah.
The Kirkinese King Crab Safari. Our sources indicate this tour has developed a really strong following among Singaporean travelers, a special obsession, they called it. Apparently, it was introduced by some local Singaporean travel agencies years ago and just gained this incredible popularity. So much so that even if travelers don't explicitly ask for it now, they're generally pretty happy if it's included in the itinerary.
That's fascinating. It really speaks to that trend in experiential travel, doesn't it? People want unique, hands-on activities,
Yeah.
especially ones with a food angle. And it also ties into another observation you pulled out. Roughly 65% of travelers from Singapore book Finland as part of a bigger Europe trip. Only about 35% visit just Finland. They'll often look for flights to their next stop, right from airports in Finnish Lapland, and then usually fly back to Singapore from Helsinki.
Yeah, that shows a really clear strategic travel pattern. Finland becomes this unique sort of Arctic anchor point within a broader European itinerary. It tells us that, the modern traveler is increasingly looking to blend different kinds of experiences, maybe a cultural city tour in one country, then this wild natural adventure in Finland, maximizing their time and investment on a long-haul trip.
Okay, so we've identified the places, the big experiences Singaporean travelers prioritize.
Hmm.
But what about the specific activities, the things they absolutely love to do once they're actually there? Let's peel back another layer.
Right. When it comes to popular activities on the ground, Finland offers some really incredible immersive things. Our sources highlighted options like a unique ice restaurant dinner experience, adventurous husky safaris, reindeer farm tours, or even thrilling snowmobile safaris out in the wilderness. And of course, for those chasing the aurora, a dedicated Northern Lights hunt is pretty much a must. Prices for these activities typically range from just under €100, about 94 euros for a reindeer farm tour, up towards, say, 150, €160 for things like snowmobiling or husky tours. The Santa Village tour mentioned is around 255 euros, but that one apparently includes a husky ride too, bundling things together. And you can see how these specific activities directly fulfill those desires we just talked about. The Northern Lights hunt, the Santa Village tour, it all ties back.
Makes sense. Okay, beyond the excitement of planning the fun stuff, practical questions always come up. Let's tackle some of the common queries for a Finland adventure from Singapore. First up, visas.
Yeah, critical detail is pretty straightforward, thankfully. Finland is part of the Schengen area, so Singaporean travelers can typically enter Finland. And the Schengen zone, visa-free for tourism for up to 90 days within a 180-day period. Always good to double-check current rules, but generally simple.
Okay, good to know. And what about the best time to visit? I imagine that really depends on what you want. Snow or no snow? Lights or midnight sun?
Absolutely. It's totally dependent on the experience you're after. If you're primarily chasing the Northern Lights, mid-September to November offers a decent chance. But snow activities might not be fully up and running yet. It's cold, but usually not extreme cold. Then, for the full winter wonderland experience, think deep snow. Frozen landscapes, December to late February is peak season. You'll find heavy snow, and temperatures can potentially plummet, like down to negative 30 degrees Celsius, or even lower sometimes. Now, this is ideal for both the Northern Lights and all those snow activities, huskies, reindeers, snowmobiles, but you absolutely must be prepared for that serious cold. However, for maybe a nice balance, March is often recommended. It's generally not quite as bitterly cold as midwinter. You can still enjoy snow activities, and you still have good chances of spotting the Northern Lights. So yeah, the best time really hinges on whether you prefer slightly milder conditions or you want that full-on Arctic winter blast.
Right, makes sense. You tailor the timing to the dream. And for flights from Singapore, any specific airlines usually recommended? And for those set on seeing the Northern Lights from a glass igloo, is there a particular location that's considered maybe the best bet?
The airlines usually recommended are Singapore Airlines and Finnair. That makes sense, given their routes and partnerships. Reliable choices, and yes, for the igloos, while most are built in areas with high chances of seeing the aurora, Saraselka is often mentioned as one of the absolute best locations specifically for hunting the Northern Lights from your igloo, that specific experience. And importantly, just circling back to where we started, finlandtour.fi is confirmed as one of the few travel companies really specializing in these customized itineraries. They assign you a dedicated executive, someone who works precisely to your requirements. That ensures that personal touch we talked about.
Okay, so it's one thing for us to talk about tailored plans and preferred activities based on the data.
Yeah.
But how does this actually play out? What do travelers say afterwards? Do the real-world experiences match up?
Well, what's really compelling here is how consistently the testimonials seem to echo the exact preferences we've been discussing. It's quite striking. Travelers frequently highlight how seamless and stress-free their tours were, covering everything: flights, transfers, meals. They consistently describe them as well-organized. And people just rave about specific memorable activities: the husky safaris, reindeer sledges under the northern lights, meeting Santa, playing in Snowman World. Even the icebreaker cruise experience came up. These are precisely those unique experiences that the sources indicated Singaporeans prioritize. It lines up really well.
And that family-friendly appeal seems to be a huge takeaway too, right?
Mm.
It sounds like these trips really hit the mark for both kids and adults.
Yes, absolutely. Testimonials often mention how delighted both the children and the adults were. Meeting Santa, the Snowman World, those kinds of things. The quality of service also gets mentioned repeatedly. Friendly guides, top-notch hotels, well-arranged experiences, even when dealing with those challenging cold temperatures. It just clearly illustrates how a well-structured, personalized tour can turn potential logistical hurdles into really cherished memories for the whole family.
Okay, so if you're listening and feeling inspired to maybe check out finlandtour.fi, the process seems pretty clear. Once you make a payment, their team apparently gets in touch within about 3 working hours with all the details. If you have questions before paying or want to discuss your potential itinerary, you can email them at info@finlandtour.fi or just send a WhatsApp message. That number is +358 45 739 62900. They also mentioned that finlandtour.fi is actually a subdomain of a larger company, Eurotrail LLC, which offers that extra layer of transparency and reassurance for travelers booking online. So what does all this mean for your next adventure? I mean, it seems pretty clear that going on a deep dive like this, really getting into the specifics of a region, and crucially, finding partners who truly understand your unique travel needs, wherever you're coming from, that can genuinely transform a dream trip into a seamless, amazing reality.
It really does. And it raises an interesting question, doesn't it? If even quite niche travel experiences, like a Finland tour, specifically for people from Singapore, can be so finely tuned to individual preferences, well, what other destinations out there might offer similarly personalized, really enriching deep dives into their local cultures, their wonders, things that go way beyond what just a generic search might reveal? Makes you think.